Kia ora, hello, harimai, welcome to the channel. Haven't done another one for a while, but here I am back at it again. I just got to do it. I want to talk about, today on the show, I'm going to talk about an old album by an American bass player, not so well known, that recently popped up in my social media, and it made me think about this album for a while. But before I get into that, just to let you know, later on I'm gonna do my first of what I hope to be an ongoing series of new releases that I'm going to do after they come out monthly. I'm not talking about albums here. I'm talking about singles, right? Or songs from albums. So before we move on any further, let's get back to what I was originally going to talk about. Now, there's an American bass player called Jamaladeen Tacuma. He became quite well known in the early 1980s when he played with the jazz, free jazz, if you like, also known as melodic saxophone player Ornette Coleman, who put together a band called Primetime, and Jamaladeen was the bass player in that band. It's music that's hard to describe, and I don't really understand the concept of melodic. I'm not a musician, and I'm not, I don't understand a lot of the terms. But Ornette Coleman was a real pioneer of that thing, the melodic idea with free jazz. And Jamaladeen Tacuma brought an electric bass and a jazzy but very funky element to him. Anyway, I'm friends with Jamaladeen online. I've never met him in person, and he recently posted a post about this particular album, and it rekindled my interest in it. So I'd like to show you the album I'm talking about. The album's called Showstopper. There it is there. Check this out, this cover. This is in the 1980s. I bought it in 1984, but I think it was recorded, if I could have a look here, it was actually released in 1983 on Vision Records. So this is a solo album he did, aside from his work with Primetime. Now, around this time, I just want to say here that, and here's the back of it. Notice the bass. It's got no head on it, no machine head where you tune it. This is the first of its kind that I'm aware of that was commercially made of basses, light basses with no machine head, no machine pegs on the end of it. It's called a Steinberger. And Jamaladeen was one of the first, if not the first, bass player to play this live way back in the early 80s. Here's the back of the album. Check that out. Amazing, isn't it? Incredible cover. This is almost impossible to get, and you won't even, I don't even think any of the streaming services have it. So you might be able to buy a CD online somewhere. It's an incredible album. And I love this album, and I'm so glad he posted about it recently, because it made me get it out and have another look at it. And so I reposted it, and he reacted to it and thanked me for reposting it. Now, this album has got a lot of quite groovy, funky stuff in it, but still sort of free, jazzy and melodic with it. And it's just amazing. And this guy was revolutionary in bass playing. Around that time, everybody was talking about Stanley Clarke and Jaco Pastorius. But he's one of the guys that had his own unique style, and dare I say, just as good as those guys, but never got the acknowledgement that they did. You know, him and people like Percy Jones from Brand X and a few other bass players that are around at the time innovating in the jazz or jazz rock crossover scene, whatever you want to call it. He was definitely up there, and I loved what he did. And check everything out. Like, one of the first guys, aside from Grace Jones, to have sort of haircut like that, living colour, sort of did it. But not only that, this guy's known for his colourful dress, and he still dresses like that nowadays. I mean, not exactly like this, but variations on it. And he's always been known for his snazzy, unique, and very colourful style, you know, as you can see. Pretty amazing. I mean, you go to a jazz gig and you don't expect to see this, you know, someone dressed like this necessarily, right? But that's how he'd turn up often. And he still does at gigs he plays. So I wanted to say a shout out to Jamaladeen. I'm not sure if he watches my YouTube channel, but I might give it a mention to him to tell him I talked about this. He'd get a kick out of that. He's still playing now. And in fact, another thing that really got me interested was that he's just put out an album called Train, as in John Coltrane, Train Configurations Centennial Celebration. Well, it's just been released, was released last month. What's interesting about this, most of you people who know about John Coltrane, especially you jazz people, will know, and people consider him one of the greatest saxophone players and greatest musicians of all time, up there with Charlie Parker and Miles Davis in the jazz scene, if you like. But he's redone a lot of John Coltrane's songs, and he's put out an album, this album, Train Configurations, and the only track I've really listened to of it, I haven't had a chance to listen to the whole album, but I was so excited about this when I heard it, because he's playing electric bass, and if I don't know of a John Coltrane album where there's electric bass on it. I mean, pretty much right up to when he passed, which I can't remember when that was. Was it sometime in the 70s? I can't remember, but I'll have to look it up. You can look it up. And it just adds a whole new, and of course he's reinterpreted John Coltrane's classics. And the song that here's the album, and here's what it looks like. This is a track called Impressions, which is a John Coltrane song off it, right? And this song is amazing. It really is. I mean, he's not only playing electric bass on it, he's doing a few sort of effects on it, and it's very groovy and funky as well. So if go and look for it. It's a bit hard to find online, but wherever you can find it, do so, right? Because it's well worth checking out. It's quite unique, and I can't wait to listen to the rest of the album, because this track, Impressions, was just incredible. It was just amazing. I've never heard John Coltrane done like that, especially with an electric bass, right? Now I want to move on and go on and talk about new releases. And this is going to be something that I'm going to do as an ongoing series. I've thought about this for a while, and I'm going to do a series of new releases. As I said, they're not whole albums, but either singles or songs from albums. And I'm going to start this off by doing new releases from May. So that's only a couple of months back. New releases of May this year of a lot of music that I've listened to, in particular ones that I've liked. The first track we're not going to hear, sorry, I can't because of the copyright law, but the first track, I'm only going to mention 5 tracks here because I don't want to make this too long, and I do tend to do long videos, but I'll try keeping these reasonably short if I can. A band called Sea Poodle, Sea Poodle, one word, right? And this is a track called Bumping on Sunset. Now, I didn't recognise it as the Bumping on Sunset that I think, was it a Wes Montgomery track? I just knew it first from the Brian Auger, the keyboardist, and a version he did. But I'm not sure if he wrote it or it goes back to a Wes Montgomery. I don't know why I'm saying that because I could have that wrong. But anyway, this is their take on it, which I'll have to go back and listen to the other versions to see how similar they are. Now, just to talk to you about Sea Poodle a bit here, right? So let me show you this track and what it looks like. So here's a photo and it's a 6-minute 48-second long. Here's part photo of the band, Sea Poodle, right? And if I'm right, it's from an album. What's the album it's from? I think it's called, it's live in the studio. Let me have a look. Sea Poodle. Just find this for a sec. Find this album for you. Sea Poodle, what a name. It's from an album called just Sea Poodle Live in the Studio, and it's subtitled in brackets Beach Break Sessions, right? Now it's got 6 songs on it. That's the second track off the album. So yeah, actually it was released in late April, so not exactly May. Now I want to tell you a bit about Sea Poodle. I'd never heard of them before. They're an interesting band, and I'm going to do that now. I'm going to read you some guff on Sea Poodle. Here's another sort of series of photos of them. there gives you some idea, right? Now, it described, they started in a place called, from the States, from a place called Windansea, Windansea. I'm not quite sure of the what part of the States that is exactly, but they started in 2021. So they've now been going 5 years. It says here, Sea Poodle brings high-energy jams and fresh grooves to the social music scene, blending 60s psychedelia, surf rock, reggae, funk, Latin percussion, indie textures, and flashes of metal. Well, as I say, I haven't listened to a lot of their other stuff. This is more jazzy and jammy, but I really like what I've heard. And here's a photo here. You can see them on stage. This is a live photo here, right, of them playing live. Try and get a bit closer, right? Sea Poodle, give you some idea. But go and check them out. What else can I say about them? Members of the group, it doesn't mention the sax player here, but Miko Fleming is the lead guitarist, Matt Donahue on rhythm guitar, Jack Luther bass, Cliff Brisner percussion, Bailey Cecil drums, Hunter Bragg timbales, and John Hooper keys. There's also a saxophone player. I'm not sure of his name. It doesn't list it here for some reason. What else can I say about Sea Poodle? It's just an incredible track, okay? So one of the new releases that came out, as I said before, not exactly May, but late April from this band. So go and check them out. They've been around for 5 years now, and they've got a few recordings out. The next track, new release that I want to talk about is a band calling themselves the Spirit Fingers Trio, right? Spirit Fingers Trio. Now, the Spirit Fingers Trio is exactly what it says. They're a trio, and the tune I discovered is called Tune 59. And there it is there. Tune 59. Right? So we've got bass player Mohini Day, who's quite a sensation on the bass, an Indian musician. On drums here, on drums, there's a guy here who's called, this is one of the other names he goes by is on this, he's called Blake Dynamic, right? Blake Dynamic. Now his real name is Mike Mitchell, and he actually played in Wellington at the Jazz Festival. Wasn't last year, was it the year before? With the amazing bass player Mono Neon. And another thing about Mike, or Blake, whatever you want to call him, is that he was in Stanley Clarke's band before Mono Neon. Yes, Stanley Clarke. This guy is a world-class drummer, you know, more known in the jazz crossover scene, jazz fusion, whatever you want to call it. Now, when we had the Jazz Festival, when they played here, Mike turned up at the after hours jam session at Ashigo Zaki, which is now closed. Not only did he turn up on his own, he turned up with the guitarist, who I think his name was Charlie, and the keyboard player from the band, right? They were only a 4-piece. Mono Neon didn't show. And they came along and politely and they would play low key, eventually got up and asked if they could jam, and they were allowed to. Now, some people knew who they were, some people don't. And they were so nice, and they only played for a couple of kind of numbers, and then they had a break. They didn't try and steal the show, or they were so, and I talked to Mike a bit. He was so humble, such a lovely guy, just so down to earth, amazing world-class musicians. And what was cool, their keyboard player, whose name I can't remember, rather than take over from the keyboardist, which I think was Artio, the young guy, Artio, is that how you say his name? Boom, who plays around Wellington. He was very young then. He might have been 18. He just sat beside him on the piano. It wasn't electric keyboards, and played along with him, like just played one end of the keyboard while he played the other, and then started showing him stuff. So nice of him. And I don't think Artio knew exactly who he was. Was it Artio or Nico? There's two brothers. One plays drums and one plays keyboards. Jesus, I get their names mixed up. But you Wellingtonians will know who I mean. They used to jam in Cuba Street. What was their band? God, see, I'm having a mind blank. But anyway, it was amazing. So this is an incredible track. I suppose it's jazz fusion-y, right? It's spearheaded by this guy, Greg Spiro. It's really his baby. He started this band years ago with different other members, and in fact, it wasn't originally a trio. It says here, it's just called Spirit Fingers. It's a contemporary jazz quartet. Originally, they were a jazz quartet based in Los Angeles and formed during the breakout of the West Coast Get Down scene that birthed Kamasi Washington, Thundercat, Kendrick Lamar, Miles Mosley, and many others. So some amazing musicians have come through Greg's band already. Their sound combines the very best of early 70s jazz fusion, complete with ambitious tempo shifts and key changes, hip-hop, pop, and modern funk. Greg Spiro, the band leader, pianist, and chief composer and arranger, is a formally trained musician with a degree in music composition and jazz performance from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Is that how you say it? There's a lot of guff on him here, but you can go and look him up. Greg Spiro, quite an amazing dude. So, this is a recent incarnation, and that was released in May of and that's from, how can I find the album it's from? Let's have a look. Let's see. Spirit Fingers. It's live at Jam Jam, and I don't know if it's a full album actually. Maybe it's only one song, but it's live at the Jam Jam, and Jam spelled J-A-M-M, right? And that was released the end of May, right at the end of May. Not quite. So go and check that out. There are some other tracks from it, I think, on there. Let's have a look. No, maybe I'm wrong on that. Okay. So the next song I want to talk about, right, is song number 3 of the 5 releases I'm going to mention. Is, let me see, find it. Is we got, I think it's oh, it's a band calling themselves Polyrhythmics, with a track called Got to Be for Something. Got to Be for Something, with Polyrhythmics, and they're helped out on this particular track by a singer known as Adrian de Leon. Adrian de Leon, spelled Adyon. I hope I'm, or is it Adrian? Adrian. It's I think she's a French black singer. Now let me find something a bit about Polyrhythmics for you. Let's first have a look at the track, and no, not that one. Polyrhythmics. This is it here. It's the cover, that's what it looks like. Right. Polyrhythmics. Got to Be for Something. This track's incredible. It's totally unlike the other tracks which don't have vocals and are more instrumental. This is this is I'm a bit thrown off because I had a light in here that I wanted to have going, and now it's not working. I might have to get Alexa. Yeah, I use Alexa sometimes, and I've got this smart light bulb. Let's try this. Alexa, make the light purple.
Okay.
I don't know if you notice the difference here. I've got other lights on. Maybe if I turn one off, but then it might be too... I'm just going to take off and turn one of these white lights off. I don't know if it'll make any difference. Hope you're still there. I haven't gone far. That might be too dark. I don't know. Is that going to be too dark now? Oh, maybe not. You can see that the slight purple hinge there of the light. I meant to have that on from the start, you see, but for some reason, switching around different lights and that, it went back to its default white light. The purple's much nicer. You can see a slight purple tinge there, right? But I've got another white light on. Otherwise, it would be kind of too dark on its own. Or I could turn it up a bit. Alexa, turn the light up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's better. God. So getting back to Polyrhythmics and Adrian de Leon with Got to Be for Something, it's more a soul funk, a modern sort of soul funk groove, for lack of a better description. Now, Polyrhythmics, I didn't know much about. Here's a kind of picture of them, not a very good one. There, right, on stage. I'll just read you some guff on them. Where are we? Polyrhythmics. Hang on, this is a better picture. And I think in this one, that's Adrian with them. Check this out. You see that? Don't know how clear and focused it is. Right? Polyrhythmics with Adrian de Leon. That's here in the blue there, I think. Right? With a picture. Anyway, they're an interesting band, and it says here polyrhythmic sound originated in Seattle's underground deep funk scene, combining impossibly tight grooves with bold brass and hypnotic percussion that showcased elements of R&B, progressive jazz, and Afrobeat, which defined the instrumental group's early era sound. Now on their 13th year as a recording project and touring ensemble, the band's sound continues to evolve, following 6 full-length albums, several EPs and live releases. The virtuoso musicianship and musical conversation built on a relentless touring schedule of the previous decade has led them to a brand of psych funk that fills a room with an impending mood where anything could happen, sometimes evoking their brighter and cinematic Fela influences. I think they're referring to Fela Kuti there, but also a more sinister and darker turn towards a progressive sonic palette. Will I read out the musicians? What are we up to? Yeah, I think I will. Ben Bloom, on guitars, Grant Schroff on drums, Nathan Spicer on keys, Jason Gray on bass, Scott Morning on trumpet, Elijah Clark on trombone, and Art Brown on sax and flute. And the guest there is Adrian de Leon on vocals there. Now, a little bit about her. Adrian Leon is Adrian Leon. Here's maybe a better photo of her, the singer on that track. Amazing voice, putting the soul funk vocals into it. Now, have I got something? Here's another picture of her, and I think this was taken with polyrhythmics on stage, right? It's and then just a little bit about. She was born and raised, so although she's got a French-sounding name, she was born and raised in the tiny artist village of Ojai, O-J-A-I, California. Cut her teeth in a Baptist congregation. Over formative years, musical theatre infused the Leon's life, resulting in a unique, theatrical, gritty and soulful sound. Currently, she is a featured principal vocalist performer for the Disney Resort, has performed background vocals for Macy Gray, Patty Austin, the Growlers, and George Clinton. Okay. In 2013, she joined the acclaimed Los Angeles-based soul and funk group Orgone? Is that how you say it? O-R-G-O-N-E. Orgone's most recent release, Reasons, features tracks spotlighting De Leon in a main writing and collaborative role. What else does it say about her? Mentions something about a single she released in 2021 called Ally, is a call to arms for everyone fighting for racial equality and social justice, available everywhere. Right, so that's a bit about her. What else? And you can find her on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Find that weird because I'm not on X. It used to be Twitter, right, since Musk took it over. But evidently you can find her on there. I'll just show that. So there's that. Where are we? That's that picture of her again, right? And then one more shot of her with, right, with the band Polyrhythmics. Polyrhythmics, mate. So, now what are we up to? Let's have a look. How many songs is that? That's only 3, 2 more to talk about, and we're 36 minutes in. This has ended up being longer than I expected. Okay, that's all right. So, the next band I want to talk about is a group called Squeaky Feet. Yes? Squeaky Feet. Now, Squeaky Feet, I'm pretty sure, are an American sort of, I don't know what to call them. Are they a prog rock band, or are they a jam band, or are they, I think they're American. Let's have a look. Haven't done my homework on this, but the track, let me just hang on a second. Let me just find this. Squeaky Feet. The album it's from is called their latest release, which was released in May. It's called Nameless and Shapeless /Shapeless Volume 2. Nameless and Shapeless Volume 2. And the particular track that we were going to talk about is, a lot of their songs have just a number written in Roman numerals. So this particular track is called Sequence XXV111. What's that? Is that from the album? Is that 25, 28? I think it is. I don't know. You brilliant people are good at converting Roman numbers to what we know as English numbers, Roman numerals to English numbers. Anyway, so their album Nameless, let's have a look on here. Squeaky Feet, let me just find them again. Right, here we go. Squeaky. I should have had this all lined up, but I didn't. You know, I did. I put a bit of work into this, believe it or not. But, you know, that's what I want to do. I want to turn you on to new music you may have heard, or new artists you've never heard. Squeaky Feet. And not necessarily all new artists, but, you know, and here we go. So there's the album, right? That's what it looks like. what did I say? Nameless, Shapeless, Volume 2 by Squeaky Feet, right? And that the tracks, it's written in Roman numerals to the equivalent of 28. So what is it? What did I say? XXV 1-1-1 What do you call that? Anyway, 28. So that's from their album. Okay. Yeah, so where is it? I'll find it on here again. 6v3. That's it there. Show you the name of the track there, right? Squeaky Feet. Go and check these guys out. Now, can I find some guff on them? I have read up on them before. They're an interesting band, very interesting band, quite unique. Let me see here. Squeaky Feet. Right, let's have a look. Okay. Squeaky Feet is a redefining the prog rock, I was right, and jam band experience with their electrifying blend of progressive rock, jazz fusion, and dance grooves, right? Combining inspiration from giants such as King Crimson, Weather Report, Pink Floyd, Steely Dan, and Rush with the modern improvisational ethos of Fish, Humphreys McGee, and Dopapod. The Denver-based, so they are American, the Denver-based quintet captivates audiences with high-energy performances that transcend genre boundaries, seamlessly weaving triumphant solos, intricate rhythms, and exploratory improvisation. Squeaky Feet delivers a sonic journey that leaves listeners enthralled and live audiences in awe. And they started in 2019 out of the Berklee College School of Music. What else does it say about them? Do I want to mention their lineup? Well, might as well, bugger it. We've got Colin Shaw on guitar and vocals, Greg King on guitar, Jimmy Finnegan on bass and vocals, Brian Keller on keyboards, sax, flute and vocals, and Kevin D'Angelo on drums. Okay? What else? You can find them both on Facebook and Instagram, right? If you want to get more info about them. It says here they've got 13 albums. Is it really that many? I can't believe it. Evidently. There's a kind of picture. You can't see much from there. One of their... Hang on. I hate when that keeps popping up. Right? One of their live shows, it looks like cool lighting. Hard to see much really, but still relatively unknown on these shores, obviously. So Squeaky Feet, go and check them out if you like that sort of music. I do, and I think they're amazing. And it's mainly all instrumental. I don't think they use vocals. I haven't heard any. I haven't listened to all their albums. I've listened to quite a few of their recent stuff, but and they've got a live album as well. This new one is the studio album, I think. Pretty sure it is. So now back to the last of the new releases of the 5 that I'm going to mention that came out in May and one in April. Let me just have a look here. Where are we? The last one is by quite a unknown guy, a bass player, an African bass player called Cesar Arnott. Cesar Anot. Now this is a track, they've done a cover of Stevie Wonder's Superstition. In brackets, it's called Amui. Now I don't know if they sing in African or is it French? Amoui. Now have I got something about this song? I think I have. Here we go. Here it is. Right? Give you some idea. It's a black and white photo. And this is Caesar over here on the bass, right? Now, evidently, also on this track is Tony Allen, who I think, if I've got this right, is the famous Afrobeat drummer that was in Fela Kuti's band, right? I presume it's the same Tony Allen. And there's another musician listed as well. If I can find it, let's see. Let's have a look. Caesar. Not. Not. The other musician featured on this track is somebody called Jack, and no second name, just M, and it Jack spelt J-A-K. So Tony Allen and Jack M. An amazing version of Superstition. As I say, I think it's either in French or African. Here's another photo of him from another track he did earlier on called Acacia. This will give you a better idea of this guy. Not sure if he does the vocals. There he is with his bass, a black and white photo. Go and check this out. It's available on a few streaming services, their version of Superstition. And again, released in May of this year. There was, okay, that's the 5, so I should finish here, right? But there was something else that I just discovered before I decided to jump on and do this video. And that was, and I don't know if I've saved any stuff from it. Let me find it. There's a musician, and this is not a new release from May. This is a brand new release from an album that's going to be released later this month from a singer called Fantastic Negrito. I don't know if any of you have heard of him, but I've been following him for a while, and I love his stuff. I don't even know how to begin to describe what he does, but he sings, he plays guitar, and he puts out some interesting music. There's definitely some rock in there. There's some funky stuff in there. Now, if I can just find this track, let me see. Blah, blah, blah. Right. Let me just find this. I wasn't going to stick this in, but I heard it before. There's 3 tracks that have been released from the album, and this track is called Beat Salad. Yes, beat as in beat, salad, and it's a live track. This album, which is due to be released later this month. Where are we? Can't find the Beat Salad track. I found it before. Hang on, let's get back to this. Here we go. Here we go, here we go. So there we go. This is one of the songs that's been released as free from the upcoming album, which will be released. Fantastic Negrito there. And the track that I liked out of the three the most was Beat Salad. It starts with a bass. It's very groovy, very funky. It's very interesting. I love his stuff. So the album that's going to be released, hang on, is called Live from Rubergen, Switzerland, right? It's going to be released sometime later this month, pretty soon, I think. So look out for that and go and check this guy out. Fantastic Negrito. Now, do I know a lot about him? I'm pretty sure he lives in the States. There's another photo of him there, right? Interesting dude. So go and check him out. Let's see if I can find some guff on him, right? And I'm pretty sure he's based in the States, but he may not be. Yeah, he's American. He's 58. I didn't realize he was that old. So he's been around. Here's his proper name. He was born in 1968. So his proper full name, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this, is Xavier Armin. Now the last name's tricky because it's spelled Dphrepaulez Depripoles, right? Better known by his stage name Fantastic Negrito, is an American singer-songwriter whose music spans blues, R&B, and roots music. His 2016 album, The Last Days of Oakland, which I haven't heard that, sorry, won a Grammy Award for Best Contemporary Blues Albums at the 59th Grammy Awards. So go and check him out. There's another photo. This is from his Wikipedia post. There's another photo of him there, right? Go and check him out, right? Yeah. Go and check him out. We're coming up 53 minutes. So much for my short video. I need to get better organised for when I do another one of these. And I am going to do more, right? I've got a few other things that I'm going to do a series of, and I don't know whether I should talk about them now in regards. So as I said, I'm going to do 5 new releases. I'm starting here from May, and then I'll work into June, and then I may backtrack then, and once I've found a few more that I like, it takes me a while to go back through them and listen to the ones that I've enjoyed the most. So I want that to be an ongoing thing, and once I get up to do June's, and we're still July now, so I'm not going to do July till at least August, then I will backtrack. So I'll go back before May. I may go April. I'm not sure how far I'll go back. The other thing that I'm contemplating doing is a series of my favourite, a playlist I made quite a few years back and I've added to, which I call the best of the best, my own playlist. And I've been building this for quite a long time, maybe 5 or 6 years, and I add to it. When I say best of the best, I've got a lot of playlists of songs I've discovered, each one 3 hours long, and so when I go back over them, I if there are any particular tracks, they're usually tracks that hit me straight away. As soon as I hear them, I go, I know a lot of tracks grow on you, but those sort of songs, there's something in the opening moments where you go, oh God, I love that, for whatever reason. And they may not be all funky, they may not be all jazz fusiony, which is a lot of the stuff I like, jazz fusiony, funky, rocky, psychedelic, bluesy, rootsy, R&B, soul-y. They may not even have those attributes or different types of music. They may be something completely different, but for whatever reason, I just love that song. So there's I do tend towards the funkier and band stuff. That's what I do. That's what I kind of gravitate towards. I like band stuff. I like that team effort, but I do like a lot of solo stuff as well. So I'm going to start releasing 5 tracks of my best of the best playlist as well. I'm not sure when I'll do my first one. Maybe I should do it next before I go back into doing my best of the new releases. Oh, and the other thing that I'm looking at doing also is doing another series of cover versions. Yeah, cover versions of songs that mostly I've liked, the original, but not always, but mostly I have. But these other artists who've taken the song and done a cover of them that is made it their own in a lot of cases, not always, well, mostly, but have their take on it that I've also really enjoyed as well. And sometimes I dare say, and it is what it is, I sometimes prefer the cover versions I've discovered than the originals for whatever reason. It's just like me preferring Jimi Hendrix's cover of Bob Dylan's All Along the Watchtower to the original. And sometimes you discover the cover version before you discover the original, and I did in that case, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to like it better, but often you do. It's the one that first hits you, if you like. So yeah, that's something else I'm going to do. So there's 3 separate series that I'm going to do, and I'll try and make them shorter videos, but it is what it is. So thanks for watching if you got this far, and enjoy the rest of your day. It's what day of the week is it here? It's is it Tuesday, the 7th of July, and it's just after 6 o'clock. So I'll try and get this posted up tonight for you to watch, and I will see you soon, hopefully, on the next video. So it's goodbye, ka kite.